leaving Philly. And unfortunately for the 76ers, they seem to just be having injury upon injury. So let's talk about it and what we think is going to end up happening with the 76ers. So, I guess the latest update on Quentin Grimes is that they're not even close to coming to an agreement on, what they should do, or I guess the money amount and stuff like that. So, the issue for Philly, which is also the other topic of this video, is that Jared McCain apparently has a thumb injury. And for Philly, I mean, they just can't catch a break with the injuries. Like, they constantly have some kind of injury problem on this team, and like, it's nobody's fault, but like, it's Joel Embiid, or it's Paul George. Maxey, his injury, I don't look at it as, anything that serious, because Maxey is not an injury prone player, but, he did have his injury too. So that was unfortunate for them. But Jared McCain, if you, watched him last year, he had the potential to win Rookie of the Year. And he got hurt, and so obviously, that didn't happen. But they need Jared McCain. They need him. And so that kind of ties into the Quentin Grimes thing, because although I had said that Quentin Grimes has the least amount of leverage in terms of those, well, now it's only Kuminga and Quentin Grimes, but the four restricted free agents in Josh Giddey, Kuminga, Grimes, and Cam Thomas, when all four of them were, available. I said Quentin Grimes had the least amount of leverage because Philly, Philly is still looking to win now, and they had at that time they had Jared McCain, coming back healthy, and VJ Edgecombe. If you watch this page, I think he's gonna be big time. So now, I wouldn't say Quentin Grimes has, the most leverage in the world, but he definitely has a little bit more now with the Jared McCain injury, because the Sixers are all in on trying to win with Joel Embiid. Will that be the case when the year is over? That remains to be seen. I'm not calling for Joel Embiid to be, traded or anything like that. I don't do that. We all know how good Joel Embiid is, when he is healthy. But there is speculation that, if for whatever reason this season doesn't go the way they planned, that there may be, some changes ahead. I don't know. I'm just, saying. So that gives Quentin Grimes a little more leverage, because if they want to win, they're going to need as many good players as they can get. And he was really good last year for them. Like, I know that everybody was out, so don't expect Quentin Grimes to put up 20 and 10, but I mean, he could definitely contribute for sure. The problem is, the obviously the money amount. It's reported, that Quentin Grimes wants or wanted in the $30 million range, and that's obviously probably not going to happen. Um, but this is why the Sixers also have leverage, is because the market and the amount of money that other teams have is not $30 million. So it's not like he's going to be getting offers like that elsewhere, because the money's just not out there. So they both have their fair share of leverage. I would say Philly still has more leverage, but that's kind of the thing with Quentin Grimes. As for Jared McCain, like I said, it's tough for Philly. Like they just always have injuries. It's like crazy. I'm not saying this injury is going to keep him out the whole season or anything like that. I didn't see that, at least. But it's just the concept of it, time and time again. Like and Paul George already has his injury as well. But it's just unfortunate for Philly, honestly. That's kind of how it is. It's kind of like, I don't necessarily want to make this comparison because I don't know if it's right, but it's kind of like the Clippers and the Sixers are like the same team in different conferences, if that makes sense. Like from a so talented, good roster, but unfortunately there's always injuries. That's kind of what I mean. Not trying to compare the two and, all that kind of stuff. But it's just unfortunate for Philly, you know. But if Jared McCain misses significant time and Quentin Grimes, let's say he resigns with the Sixers, do we think that the 76ers are still contenders then? And I'm asking you guys, and you guys can comment down below, especially when you watch this on playback. Are the Sixers still contenders if Jared McCain has to miss significant time, which again, I'm not saying he is, I'm just hypothetical here. And Quentin Grimes comes back, obviously, and then he'll have, a decent role. The Paul George thing, that is obviously something to look out for because they need everybody healthy. Joel Embiid, his status, I know we haven't heard anything, about Joel Embiid recently, but there is always concerns, because of his past injury history. The Sixers, like I said, it's just tough, but it's a talented roster. Somebody said the Sixers are the best. Are you saying they're the best team in the league? I personally don't think they're the best team in the league, but I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. And like I said, they have a talented roster. So that's not like, again, although I wouldn't say they're the best team in the league, that's not like completely unreasonable because you have Joel Embiid, Paul George, Maxey, and other talented players on the roster. So again, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I don't necessarily agree with that, but it's not like the craziest thing to say, because Joel Embiid, when healthy, he is a top 5 player. I don't know where you put him, honestly, because it's so hard because he's, he gets hurt a lot. But, when the year after he won MVP, the first half of the season he came back, I've talked about this before, he literally was better than his MVP season. Like, really good. So, somebody said, hey, just a few years ago, the 76ers were like the bottom of the barrel. They're headed in the right direction. Yeah, like they are, they're having some bumps along the way, but like I said earlier, I'm a big fan of BJ Edgecombe. I think he can be big time in this league. And my prediction is, putting Cooper Flag aside because Cooper Flag is just like hard to, determine where he's going to end up and stuff like that. But I feel like BJ Edgecombe could and should end up being the best player in this draft. Again, Cooper Flag aside. So that's my expectations of BJ Edgecombe. And then you still got Maxey. Like, Maxey is that guy. He really is. So, someone said, honestly, really good rebuild, just unlucky. Yeah, they got unlucky. I mean, the one thing you could say is that when they were doing the trust the process days, TBT, the one thing you could say is that I'm trying to remember the order in which they drafted the players because, I think Joel Embiid 2014, 2015. Ben Simmons was definitely after him. The thing that I think, if my memory serves me correctly, what confused people is when they drafted Joel Embiid, but then they drafted Nerlens Noel, or they drafted Nerlens Noel first and then drafted Joel Embiid. I don't remember which order it was. But it seemed like they were drafting the same type of positional players. And we know that Ben Simmons obviously is not a center, but he was not a shooter. Like, I understand, they picked him up for the obvious reasons, the comparisons. He's the next LeBron, as we hear all the time, and stuff like that. And so I don't fault them for that. But I remember around that time, people were kind of a little confused why they were picking up players with kind of similar skill sets. It was especially the Joel Embiid and Nerlens Noel thing. I remember that. Unless, again, my memory's incorrect. I remember people are like, you're like, they need XYZ or whatever it was. And then obviously in 2017 draft, when they got Markelle Fultz. Was that 2017? Whenever they got Markelle Fultz. And then unfortunately that didn't work out. Yeah, so they've had their opportunities, but I'm a fan of BJ Edgecombe. Look out for him. So thank you guys so much for watching this live stream. I hope you enjoyed, and see you soon.